I am Hemant Parmar, and today I'll be talking about these four things. So, firstly, I am a BTech third year student at VIT, Vellore Institute of Technology, and I started Python in my school days in 11th and 12th, and I have a lot of experience in Python. Even I did my DSA in Python, as you can see. There are 385 problems that I solved in Python in DSA, and I am quite familiar with Python as a whole. I have a knowledge of the libraries in Python. Now we come to the projects that I build with Python. So if I show my GitHub profile, so you can see that a lot of projects are built in Jupyter Notebook and Python, etc. If we go to repositories, these are the projects I build over time. I'm going to show you one of my first projects in Flask. So if we take a look at my first project, this is the source code. I built it using Replit. I used basic Flask methods render template to render this HTML file. As you can see, it is very simple profile project, and I use basic routing. Also, I use templating here, for loop, and include all those things which are important to learn while starting with Flask. I first deployed it using render. This is my GitHub repo of this. You can access it by going to github.com/the Hemant Parmar /Hemant career website, and this is how it looks. It is very simple. I created it almost 2 years ago, and it was my intro project to Flask. And one thing I saw in the job listing that I have to discuss about the shortcomings. It is just an intro project. It lacks a lot of things. Even I do not have a profile here. It's just a very simple website. The main focus was on exploring Flask and having an experience on how to deploy Flask projects. If I further discuss the shortcomings, I should have made a database connection here. Also, the style is embedded in HTML only. I could create a separate CSS file for that. A lot of room for improvement is there. Now, before coming to second project, I want to tell you that apart from Flask, I have studied and Fast API. It is mostly used for creating APIs. And second, I also did JavaScript programming in Express. And why I am telling you is because the knowledge and the experience and the practice I got while using Express.js or while using Fast API, it is transferable in Flask terms. For example, if I have created this project in Fast API, so a lot of things are similar to Flask. For example, adding course to my project, or you can say that model.py which I used. So this project, although is made from Fast API, I could easily make it uh, in Flask also, and it is a very good project. Also, the Express.js project that I created, it has a lot of things and it is quite complex. Here, I want to show that I can deal with complexities too. Now, if I see, okay, this profile website evolved over time. So this is very basic and it is not very informative, to be honest. So I created this for my GitHub profile backend. All the backend which I created using Flask, I have to remove it because basic HTML, CSS, JS is allowed on GitHub.io hosting. So this is a basic. Then this is my education. This is the languages that I know. I'm not very good at colors, especially in design. Now I go to the second project. Second project is also not very complex. This is my second project. This is the code of the second project. So as you can see here, I used Flask. I connected this with MySQL, and first we have some MySQL configurations over here. We connect to the MySQL, and then we created a root endpoint and a login endpoint to get the login of users. We created a hash of password and then store it in our servers. Also, we check if user is a legitimate user, and if the user is found in our database with the correct password, we store the ID and username in the sessions. So one thing I could use JSON Web Tokens or JWT instead of sessions. Also, in logout, we just pop the details out of the session. In registering the user, we check it from the database, and if a user already exists, we cannot register it with the same username. So some other username should be taken, and after, so I can show you how it works. So this is the implementation. So if I want to register user, I could say HP and then password. For example, I say HP123, HP2 I can say because I have registered with the same name, and password I 1234, and email ID I'd say hp2@gmail.com. So I registered successfully. Now if I want to sign in, I could use the details I just entered, and now I can sign in successfully. So it is a simple page which shows that we are signed in and we accept. So it is just a implementation of authentication authorization, nothing very complex. It is a very simple project. Okay. Although I have a lot of practice, I do not have a very big project in Flask, but I have projects in other technologies like I have an AI project in Fast API. I have an social media app built with Express.js, and all those things are transferable because the experience I gained from building those projects I could use in Flask. Thank you for watching this long video. Thank you.